be happy to see death, can be happy to see destruction. Nobody can actually feel, oh, that's what they get. What are you saying? What are you saying? The hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو. Do not desire and wish to see your enemy. You don't want to meet them. Don't ever desire for a battle. Don't desire for a war or for a fight. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the vast majority of the battles that he participated in, he did not even fight. They avoided fighting. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them futuhat, fathun. A victory is what? Opening. Opening. Why? Because the point and purpose of jihad fi sabilillah, of every single fight, every single physical confrontation is what? To remove the blockade so that Islam can move forward. That's the point. It's not to fight for oil, it's not to fight for land, it's not to fight for money, it's not to fight for any of these things. It's so that Islam can remove the blockade, we can have a fath, and Islam can spread. That's why we call it fath of Makkah. The fath of Makkah is all those people became Muslim, and Islam was spread in that region. So none of these wars and battles that are taking place are just wars and battles. Seriously, very, very few people who are actually fighting for the preservation and the defense and the spread of Islam. It's a handful. I'm not saying zero, a very, very small amount. So again, let's not get caught up in these kinds of, especially don't get caught up in nationalism and caught up in this kind of hizbiyah and stuff like that, right? Craziness, wallahi, when you see the way that believers are acting. The way believers are acting. I had, so I speak up against all this government stuff. I don't care. I'll say whatever I'm going to say. So I have there's a bot, a group of these bots, this army of people who comment on my posts, and they like to call me Khariji. Right? So they call me Khariji, from the Khawarij, because the Khawarij obviously were, so I'm like, okay, I'm a Khariji somehow, I don't know, right? Because I speak up against some guy living in Dubai, right? So that makes me a Khariji by default, right? Ya subhanAllah, okay, give your bay'ah to, the Amir of Dubai if you want to, bro, but, don't ask me to do something. So, I had one Shaykh, mashallah, he commented on one of our posts, and he's, mashallah, very, very famous, Salafi Shaykh, and he made dua for us, right? Alhamdulillah. So I was very happy to see that. It made me very happy to see his comment. Underneath his comment, other people who are also Salafis, they attacked that Shaykh. They said about it, they said, how dare you make dua for a Khariji dog? Who's that Khariji dog? That's me. Waliyadu billah. Right? Even if it's your Muslim brother or sister, how can you call your Muslim brother or sister, something like that? And they're attacking the Shaykh. One other person commented, they said, I used to look up to you, and now I see that you're praying for the Khawarij. So you are even worse than them. And they're attacking the Shaykh. And they're his fellow, of the same, let's just say, manhaj. But why? That kind of extremism, this is, what type of, deen is this? Right? But I say Muslims are more afflicted with this than anybody else. This is why the Prophet ﷺ warned us against these things. If he warned us against it because it's a very real possibility of it happening. And we see it happening. We see these things happening. Right? And that's because it's in defense of my hizb, my group, right? It's in defense of my nation, my passport, my skin color, my socioeconomics, all of this. Instead of in defense of the truth, in defense of Islam. It's not in defense of Islam. It's in defense of my understanding, my this and my that. That's it. Not in defense of the life of a believer. No, it's because of all these other things that are, and we're just being played, right? Muslims are just being played left, right, and center, and they're falling for it every time. Anyways, back to the tafsir, inshallah.